today's food haul is from Tesco's. I have been seeing so many commercials on TV about special prices for Clubcard members. Like, it's a much lower price, and even though that sounded really good, I wanted to go to Tesco's this week, do my 2-week grocery shop and see if it's actually worth the fuss that it is creating, because even though some of the items might be a lot cheaper, if everything else is a lot more expensive, then it's kind of not worth it in my opinion, because you might find the best prices in 5 different supermarkets, but who's got the time to go to 5 different supermarkets to get the best possible prices? You can still do that, and that's wonderful, but I'm a busy mum and I really don't have time for that. I haven't been shopping at Tesco's for a while, but I did have the membership with them for a couple of years, but I haven't had a chance to cancel. But I wanted to see how practical it was and what it was like. So this is what I got. This is a 2-week shop. Some of the items are going to be going in the freezer. Some of the things I'm going to be making for stock up in the freezer. I got like wipes and stuff like that. So it's a 2-week shop with a little bit of stocking up in it, and it was £117. Yes, it is. I'm actually impressed, because for 2 weeks, £117 is not bad. It's not bad at all. But as you can see, I only got fresh produce. There were very small things that I got for the pantry, just because if you see my previous video, I do talk about the fact that I like to stock up on the items when I see them coming on with a good price. I will strongly suggest for you not to be stocking up on things you do not use on a regular basis. So only the things you're 1000% sure you're going to use, stock up on those. So let's take a look at what I got. At the end of the video, I'm also going to put a meal plan and talk it through with you guys. What I'm going to be making over the next 2 weeks using this produce. I'm also going to do exactly the same shop through an Asda website without actually placing an order, just so we can see at the end if it's worth it, if Asda is cheaper, because Asda is my go-to supermarket. They are always relatively good with prices, but this was really tempting. I was really curious, and I wanted to check for you guys if the fuss was worth it, if it's genuinely worth going and doing a food shop at Tesco. Keep in mind that I love saving money on groceries. We eat quite healthy. As you can see, the big chunk of the shop is fresh fruit and veg produce. We do eat more than even 5 a day, and we mainly eat a protein-based diet. So let's take a look at what I got. So I've got my little book with me where I've written out all the prices after I've checked the receipt and everything, and they have, just so you're aware, they have overcharged me for something that is simply not here. They've charged me for tomatoes twice, and I couldn't find what it was for. So I'm very curious. There's nothing I can really do about it, because I've already left the shop and I can't really prove anything. But it's something to keep in mind, guys, when you are doing a relatively small shop, or just be aware of it, because every penny does count, and they've overcharged me by £3. So, but I still included in the £117, because for all I know, I've miscounted something or whatever it was. You never know. Alright, so let's take a look. If we start with the fresh produce, I've got 3 boxes of eggs, just because we eat a ton of eggs. They were £1.69 each for free range, medium size, 12 eggs. So that's a relatively good price, it's alright. The bananas, they were 86p for 6 bananas, so it's alright. And then the courgettes, they were £1.20 for each one of these. The courgettes are 700 grams, I just weighed them myself, and they were £1.20, which is okay for a price, but relatively speaking, all the other supermarkets I found were charging more for them. Like, I remember Asda had a mad price for them, and I can't recall from the top of my head, but I remember not buying them on my last shop 3 weeks ago because it was outrageous. So I got 3 packs. I'm probably gonna make frittatas out of them, as well as they make a good side, especially when you can pack it up and put it in your freezer as like a roasting pack with some red onion and peppers and like sweet potatoes with a little bit of a spice mix. And they're fantastic, so instead of buying those ready ones, this will come out cheaper. Then the grapes, Tesco's. I am very disappointed. This was £2. They're in season. They should not be this outrageously priced. They are a pound at Asda. I know that for a fact. So that did not put them in my good books, that's for sure. Then I got the pears, which were £1.60. They're the ripe at home ones. Honestly, I'm most probably going to peel them, blend them, and put them in pots for my daughter who has porridge every morning, and I always put a bit of fruit in there for her, so that will extend their shelf life massively and make it hassle-free and stuff. Then I got the oranges because we do not drink juices at home, and we cut up fruit like oranges and grapefruits and stuff, and we eat them whole because you get the fiber, and this way the sugar is not as bad for you, and lots of vitamins in there. Then I got the avocados. Avocados, oh my god, I was shocked. They were 79p for a large avocado that was not rock hard or smushed to bits. This was so good. I am very, very happy. So I got 6 of them. I'm gonna pop most of them in the fridge, and then as I need them, I'm gonna take one out and put it on my windowsill for like a day, and they will go nice and soft and make them last for as long as possible, but I do not expect them to last for more than 8 days, I would say. Then the next thing was I got a little head of cauliflower. They were selling it by the head. If I'm not mistaken, they were, I think, 70p a head. So I picked the head, which was without all the leaves, and it was the biggest one possible because so many of them have got so many leaves, and by the time you open it, like I opened one of them right in the supermarket, it was like this small, and that's not worth the money. So you're paying per head, make sure you get the biggest one. Then I got the broccoli. Such a shame that it's in plastic, but what can you do? And each one of these were 48p, which was really good. So I got 3 of them. I'm probably going to cut one up, steam it, and blend it and put it in the freezer for my daughter to have as little size, just to extend the shelf life of it a little bit. Then I got the parsnips. So the 2 parsnips were 32p. I'm probably gonna make a soup out of them because if you roast them and then make a soup of them with like apples and maybe sweet potato or something, they taste really nice and sweet. The kids would love it, and you get that nutrition in there. Then the aubergines were 70p. They work quite hard, so they do have several days on them, which is really, really good. And a quick tip, as you can see, this one has got a bit of a line rather than a dot. That just means, same as this one, that means that these are, I think, female ones compared to male ones. So basically they'll have less seeds in them. So they're a lot nicer to eat. So if you don't like aubergines because they're full of seeds and because of that they go quite bitter, do get the ones with a line, and they'll have a lot less seeds and will be much sweeter. I'm probably gonna make a tagine out of them, like a Moroccan stew, and put some in the freezer, so those are gonna be used for that. Then I got the gem lettuce for 85p. They weren't quite big for a gem lettuce, I'll be honest. We like doing them for, like in sandwiches for a crunch and stuff like that. We're slowly trying to get my almost 6-year-old boy to love a bit of lettuce in his sandwich, because before he would refuse to eat it, and now he's starting to like it because his dad loves it, and I like a nice salad with it for a crunch. Then I got these tomatoes. I like tomatoes on a vine rather than loose because they are sweeter, and this pack was £1. I was very, very happy with that, considering it's 250 grams. I wouldn't want any more of them because I won't have a chance to actually finish the whole pack before they'll go off, most probably. Well, I have to like put them somewhere. And I'm the only one in the family who eats tomatoes. Like Jamie and Tom, they just can't stand tomatoes. I've got a lot of hope for my little girl who will eventually, hopefully, love tomatoes. So definitely impressed with that one. The next bit is peppers. So I have got 6 of those peppers. They were 35p each, which is really, really good that all of them were loose. They were the best price. They were the club members price, I remember that. And the lady at the checkout did not fuss about the fact that I did not put them in a bag, which was really, really sweet, because sometimes I feel like the checkout ladies or people who work at the checkout, they get a bit frustrated that everything is loose because they do want people to put things in plastic. But I try to, as I said, try to be a bit better for the environment and not use it if I can get away with it. So that was really lovely. So I got those ones. Then I also got us a little bit of a treat, and I got baby asparagus and tender stem broccoli, which is my husband's favorite broccoli. And I'm gonna probably use those on Saturdays. We usually do a bit of a nicer meal, so we usually have either a roast or a casserole, something like that, as a family meal. So I'm probably gonna use it in that. And this pack, I do not remember how much that was worth. It's low enough to justify me buying it. I vaguely remember that it was the same price to buy this as it was just to buy the same amount of just tender stem broccoli, which I thought was really good. So I went for that. Then I also got a big blob of ginger again. So nice to see plastic-free produce. This is a giant amount of ginger that I got for £1. Right, then I also got the baby potatoes. I'm pretty sure they were £1. I had to buy those because I completely forgot to get baby potatoes at Asda, or they were too expensive or something. But yeah, I just got enough for a couple of meals, and they looked really, really good, so I think they will last a little bit. Then I got, as usual, we love this yogurt scarce. So this was £1.25 for each, so this was exactly the same as most supermarkets. One thing about Tesco's, they didn't have them in the big packs, and I usually buy a lot of them, but because they weren't any better priced than like Sainsbury's, that is like next door to my son's school, so I just thought, you know what, when we run out of it, I'll just quickly nip out and get it there. Like, it doesn't make a difference for it to be taking up space in my fridge anyway. But yeah, we do eat a lot of it. It keeps us really, really full, and we're quite sensitive to dairy. Like, we can't have a glass of milk without having a bit of a reaction, but we do eat like cheese and stuff like that, like where there's less level of lactose. I think that's what it is, but I'm not sure. I'm not like a nutritionist or dietitian to really understand that. I just kind of go with trial and error and see what we can get away with. So we're okay with cheeses, but yogurts were always tricky one. Like, we could not really have, any of us could not really have it like more than once a week, and we love a good yogurt and granola, and we don't like the alternative ones because usually they're full of nasties and they're so expensive. But we found that skyr we could eat fine. I think it's because it's made out of skimmed milk, so more of the milk is filtrated out of, I don't know where it is, but really, really recommend if you're on a high protein diet. We love it. Another thing is the soft cheese. So I got 3 of them. So I got Tesco's brand one, they were 80p each. I like to put it as a spread in a sandwich instead of butter or mayo, just for a bit of lactose in my son's diet. They did have a cheaper one from like the same dairy as this one, but when I looked at the ingredient list, they did have an additive in it. So I didn't go for that one. I'm pretty sure it was about 45p for 250 gram carton. So I got this one, which was almost double the price. But it's completely pure, it doesn't have any nasties in it or anything. And it is cheaper than Philadelphia, so happy days. Then this mozzarella, I did end up buying this brand because again, I looked at the ingredient list and it was exactly the same as all the other ones. And it was 45 pence. Like, it was the cheapest per kilo as well. So when you go shopping, do check, like, I think by law, the supermarkets have to state the price of the item and then price per kilo to make it very, very fair. And this way you will really see if you're getting a good price. And a lot of the times you will notice that the ones that are on promotion are actually more expensive per kilo than they are or like other brands and stuff like that. I am pretty sure that Tesco's mozzarella is made at the same factory because they had exactly the same ingredient list and stuff like that, and weight and everything. I think it's just different packaging. But this one was like half the price of all the other ones, and it had the same ingredient list. So I am happy. I'm gonna make nice, I think I'm gonna make margarita chicken. When you get like a chicken breast, you put a slice of tomato. I've got some pesto left over from yesterday's dinner. I opened the jar, I was lazy. So I'm gonna spread a little bit of that on the chicken breast, slice of tomato, a slice of mozzarella, and bake it. And I'm probably gonna do it with like little meat potatoes or something like that as one of the weekday meals. So yeah, that's very good. I'm very happy with that. So moving on to chicken, I got the chicken breasts. They were, I think, £4.80 per kilo, which is a good price I know that in London, £5 or less for chicken breast is a good price, and we go through mad amounts of chicken breast. So because we don't eat hams, because again of all the nasties in there. So a lot of the times I will boil the chicken whole, I will shred it, I will take the liquid, and that will be my chicken stock. And the chicken, the shredded one, I usually portion out, put it in the freezer, and that is the best filling for sandwiches, toppings for soups, toppings for pizzas, all sorts. Like, we go through mad amounts of it, but it's a lot healthier than processed meats. So again, we're running out of it because we go through mad amounts. And I got 2 of those. That was good. Then I also got the beef mince. I got 2 of those. I'm probably gonna make either cottage pie or shepherd's pie, something like that. And I will make enough for my daughter to have her meals. And I'm probably gonna have another tray to put in the freezer. So like one of those days when I'm short for time or whatever, I can just grab it out of the freezer and put it straight in the oven as my own ready meal. Then another thing that I have discovered lately, the supermarkets have started doing, which I'm so happy about, is whenever they're selling any kind of meat for casseroles, instead of chopping it straight away, they're actually selling it whole. And the reason I love it is because I get, first of all, it's cheaper because they don't have to chop it, so they don't have to charge you for that labor. But second of all, a lot of the times when it's chopped there, it's in tiny pieces. So whenever you're making a stew, you just get like blobs of meat or it falls apart. It's just, I like to chop my own meat. I like having big, nice chunks so you can see them like falling apart. I don't know, they caramelize better instead of just getting soggy. I don't know, but I love it. And 3 weeks ago when I went to Asda, I got one of those and they were £3 for 600 grams, and we made stew out of it on a Sunday. And it was, according to my husband, hands down the best stew he's ever had in his life, and his family's Irish. So just saying, I think it's all down to the meat. So I saw it at Tesco's and it was actually a really good price. I think it was, yeah, it was $3.25. What I do with those, by the way, is you can see the amount of space on the top that will be wasted in your freezer when you put it in, like the wasted air space. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open these packs, I'm gonna chop them how I like them, and I am most probably gonna put them in either loose to be frozen, then after they're frozen I'm gonna put them in a bag, or I'm gonna put them in individual bags for however much I need to make a full dinner. And then when it's time for me to make that dinner, all I have to take out is that bag or weigh out how much I want. If it's loose, I'm not sure, I haven't made my decision yet. I'm trying to be good for the environment and use less plastic. So I'm trying that, but it does not work with everything. So we'll take a look at that. But yeah, in principle, defrosted, I know exactly how it's chopped, pop it in, and I'm gonna share with you the recipe for that stew because it was epic. It was so good. And really easy actually, because you literally just pop it all in the oven and it just cooks itself. So happy. Then I got the pork belly slices, so they were £2.70 and it was for almost half a kilo of it. What I like to do with pork belly slices, I like to make Mexican taco filling with them. So what I usually like to do is I marinate them. I'll share that recipe with you because it's so easy. So this pack will probably make 2 dinners for us. So I'm gonna marinate the whole thing, separate it into 2. One of them we'll probably use straight away, or maybe not, I don't know. But it is so easy because I do have refried beans that I've made a couple of weeks ago already ready to go in the freezer again. So I'll grab this out of the freezer, it will be already marinated, straight on the pan, slow heat. All of that fat will render and make an amazing sauce. And then you get some refried beans, a bit of avocado in a taco, done. And like maybe some like baked sweet potatoes or something on the side, or rice. So really good, love it. The flavor is amazing. It is not something we eat very often just because it is really fatty, but we've really cut down on the amount of bacon and sausages we've been eating, and both me and Tom lost a ton of weight since we started eating this way. And to be really honest with you, it got a bit colder in London the last couple of weeks and I am freezing. I am genuinely freezing. I have to be the one wearing like a winter coat when everybody's still running around in like raincoats, barely anything. Because when you lose weight, you genuinely feel like the wind goes through your bones. It's that cold kind of thing. So this is my justification for buying something this fatty, is that I need to fatten myself up a little bit for the winter before I freeze to death. And speaking of fattening myself up, is my husband has requested me getting some Cumberland sausages if they were a good price, just because a few weeks ago I did buy some sausages at Asda. We only used one pack actually, and the rest of them are still in the freezer, but they were the caramelized onion ones that we love. They are, if you like caramelized onion sausages, the Asda's like taste the difference, like one of the premium brands. They're, I think, 2 packs for £4, so that's like 12 sausages for £4. They are amazing. There's been so many times where I had people over for brunch and they were like, oh, your butcher is amazing, the best sausages ever. And I'm like, yeah, Asda. So definitely recommend it as this one for caramelized onion ones. But we really just fancied some Cumberland ones because they're nice and spicy. Every now and again I make sausage pasta. So like I take some of these sausages, I take them out of the casing, and I make it with like red onion and paprika and garlic in tomato sauce, and we have pasta, and then we have like broccoli or peas on the side, and it's just so yummy. And you physically eat a lot less sausage through this way. Usually I use 2 sausages for a meal for me, my husband and my 5-year-old, so happy days. So I'm probably gonna open this pack and portion it out. I'm probably gonna freeze 6 together for like a brunch fry up that we do every Saturday. Sometimes we use sausages, sometimes we use bacon, but basically once a week we give ourselves a treat of doing that. And then the other ones I'll probably freeze in 2s for dinners, but we'll see, maybe I'll but that's what I usually do. Then I also got some wipes. Wipes are really weird. Like I find that I haven't seen a good price on wipes for months now. Like ever since lockdown, we've really struggled to find wipes. Like my husband was so grateful that I've stocked some up, because we wouldn't have been able to buy them unless it was like an outrageous price. So it's still not the best one. I'm waiting for like a good deal to come on and then stock up on it. But we really need wipes. So I got a box. It was £9 for 12 pack of wipes. I'm pretty sure it was something like 18 pence for 100 wipes, something like that. So it's not the best, but it will do for now. You know, what can you do? You have babies. We use wipes, so that's that. Then I also got the sunflower oil. We use it for most cooking. I find that it is healthier than vegetable oil because it doesn't oxidize as fast. I may be wrong, but this is the research I've done. This is what it said, and it's got a very neutral taste. So that one, that whole bottle was £3 if I'm not mistaken. And then we also needed a bottle of water, so I got a big 5-litre still water, because my daughter still drinks formula milk, and we use one of the Tommy Tippy's machines, and they've got a filter system, so I like to put mineral water in it to preserve the filter as much as possible instead of using tap water. I know it's silly, I get it, this is just one of those weird things that I'm doing. I'm not recommending it, it's just what we do. The thing I got was the smoked salmon, so it's this one over here. Yeah, it was 90 grams and it was £2.10. The best thing about this, the reason I think why it was such a low price, is because this was in a different aisle compared to the other smoked salmons. So this is a weird thing. Another tip. The supermarkets, this is something I've heard so many times from different people. They have told me, and I have found today, that some supermarkets are being a bit cheeky. So they will take some products and not put them with the same type product. So for example, smoked salmon, instead of putting them all together as smoked salmons, some of them will be in a different aisle. Like for example, World Foods or something it was, and they're always cheaper in one or the other. I think what they expect people to do is when they're standing in front of the aisle, they look at the prices, whereas if you put the cheapest one actually somewhere far away, people will be buying a more expensive product, because when they ask where the smoked salmon is or they look for it, oh, there is all the smoked salmon. Because after I picked this one up, again, because I know a price for salmon, what it should be £3 or less for 100 grams, I went there and this was the cheapest by a mile per kilo, which was just, I was super happy with that. So keep that in mind. As you can see, I've stocked up on pizzas again. I know, I have a problem, but the price was really good. really, really good. So 3 weeks ago when I went to Asda, and I was showing you guys that most of the time, if you are buying pizzas, do consider freezing them when you get home. Because they freeze beautifully. Even, I think the Asda's one, it actually doesn't actually say on the label that it can be frozen, so it is completely safe to freeze it. Like, we have done it several dozens of times, and every single time we're fine. Just put another like 5 minutes more in the oven for it to defrost and start cooking. And actually what we've noticed, even my 5-year-old has mentioned it, that whenever they are baked from the freezer, they taste better. They're less soggy like at the bottom. So definitely recommend that. So at Asda when I was there, their pizzas were outrageous. There was something like £4.50 for a pizza. That is mad, because that's just one meal for one person, really. So what we've done is we looked at the discount section. Even my husband is now doing these things because it's mad how much he can save. So he literally found exactly the same pizzas as he likes, and instead of paying £4.50, I think he got them for like £2.70 or something, because they were expiring next day. So what we did when we got home, we shoved them straight in the freezer. There's still a couple there, like for whenever he fancies it, but it makes a real difference to how much you're spending if you keep that in mind and really using your freezer to the max, because I feel like there's such a stigma around freezers. People just picture it being all about junk food, but I see it as like a little time machine that basically whatever you put in there, you press pause on the shelf life and you can use it a lot better in that sense. So the pizzas, so I got 6 pizzas, wait for this, usually they're £3.50, but for the Clubcard holders, they were £1.75 each, compared to like £4.50 for a pizza at Asda. So I got a couple of those. So I got 2 margaritas, I got the char-grilled vegetable ones, I got the meat feast because my husband loves it, and I got the spinach and ricotta. It tastes really, really yummy last time I had it, which was a few years ago now. But one thing that I was really, really surprised about is usually the ingredient list on the pizzas, I just can't look at it because it's got so much crap in it. But it's a treat, and it's better than us ordering a pizza. Like, we do that because that is so wonderful, and we always like to support local restaurants, but we know how much of a markup a pizza is, and it's not often I can justify spending 30 quid on a takeout that is a pizza. I was going to say before I went on that, rant about, it's fantastic. Like, it's basically made of flour, mozzarella cheese, tomato puree, hard cheese, which is basically like your Parmesan cheese, tomato, like fresh tomato, semolina flour, rapeseed oil, which is really fine, yeast, that's normal for a pizza dough, basil, and sourdough culture. That is it. There is no sugar, there is no additives, there's no stabilizers or any of those kind of things, so very happy with that. And for £1.75 each, very, very good. What a lot of times I do is I usually buy a lot of the plain ones, and as I was saying, we do a lot of shredded chicken and pop them in the freezer. A lot of the times I'll put shredded chicken over the top. We also have like pesto in the freezer, and I put a bit of pesto on there and stuff like that, so this way you can do the topping instead of buying it already on, especially because when you usually buy it with toppings, it doesn't have as much as you wish it had. So definitely something to think about, but yeah. Right, then I also got the chopped tomatoes, 9 of those, and they were, I think they were about 30 pence each for each of one of the cans, which is quite a good price, or even 25 pence, something like that. And I think this is a new range that Tesco is stocking, because I've seen a lot of products with this branding, the Growers Harvest, and they're not bad. Again, I also got some oats as well, just as I was saying in the previous videos. My little one, my 1-year-old, she has porridge every single morning with some fruit in there, and we started adding some almond butter in there as well. And she loves it and we love it, and I have porridge at least 2 times a week, so we go through a ton of it, and it's such a cheap breakfast that is so good for you. Then I also got a ton of onions, so I got a couple of kilos, I think, of these red onions that were £1 each, and I got brown onions as well that were 50p a bag. I got a couple of those as well, just because you guys will probably notice from my videos, I start almost every single meal with an onion base, because onions are fantastic at absorbing flavor. You will need less spices because it will grab onto it like a sponge and you will taste it massively. Like you won't taste the onion, you will taste just the flavor. So I love, 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 like that is such a must. Then I also got a couple of the kaffir lime leaves packs. They are expensive. This thing, this tiny thing, was £1. Make your Thai green curries or Thai red curries or whatever, Thai curries, taste out of this world. And you know what, these ones are quite big actually, so I think I'm gonna cut them in half or maybe into thirds even, and I'm gonna put them all in the freezer and then just grab one piece as I need it. And you really don't need much of it at all, but just the hint of it, like the oils it releases, oh my god, it makes the most delicious, complex flavor of a Thai curry. I have got no idea as to why I got 2. That was a dumb idea, but I'm gonna put it on me not sleeping enough last night because Millie was up 3 times. But and I've got no clue as to how much this was worth because I could not find it on the receipt. But I need a big bunch of coriander because I'm gonna make little curry pods. So I literally take leftover coriander that I have not used throughout the week that is just about to wilt. I blend it with raw garlic and raw ginger. I put them in ice cube trays, and that is the most incredible, easiest base for your Indian curries, for your Thai curries, etc. And it's a great way to stretch out your coriander life, because I've tried growing it under my windowsill, it just dies. Like it's just, I'm not very good at keeping those alive. And freezing chopped coriander on its own loses its taste completely. Like I do not recommend that at all. I think the best way to preserve coriander in a freezer is to blend it with something as like a flavor pot. Some dry tarragon and some dry bay leaf. This I got because I'm an idiot who forgot to buy it in bulk. So bay leaves, again, I added to a lot of dishes because it adds depth of flavor, and you cannot make a good stew or a good chicken soup without a bay leaf in my opinion. And most of the spices I buy them from a wholesaler. So a lot of people do not realize that you can actually buy it spices in bulk. Like for example, we go through so much cumin, so much turmeric, and I just buy them literally in kilo bags, and per kilo it's a lot cheaper and it's like a year's worth of it. As long as you keep it in a dark place, it's completely airtight. It will stay super fresh. It is a lot cheaper. You make your own spice mixes with it. But as I was placing the order, I forgot to order bay leaves. Like, I don't know what in the world I was thinking, but I forgot bay leaves. For now, I'll have to survive on these ones, which was 70p for each. For tarragon, I think that's not too bad. I like to use it whenever I'm making something with pork or with mushrooms, or if I'm making a béarnaise sauce. Like this one, if you soak it in some melted butter, it will actually bring the flavor over. It's not as good as fresh tarragon, but it will do. Carrots. So I don't know if everybody's aware, but there is such a thing as like the imperfect veg. Basically, when the supermarkets are buying their fruit and veg, they want it to look completely perfect and wonderful, because most of the time customers will pick out the most beautiful fruit and veg and leave behind the like non-perfect ones. Almost always buy the imperfect ones because they're a lot cheaper than the standard ones. They taste exactly the same because they are grown together. This is just like, some of them are a bit snapped off, some of them have got a bit of a weird shape and stuff like that. But I would genuinely look at those, because if you look at the bag, like, I'm sorry, it might be just me, but they look exactly the same as a regular bag of carrots. This, by the way, was like 47p or something like that. So really nice and cheap. We're not big fans of celery unless it's cooked, but it's definitely worth having in your sauces and like soups and stuff like that when it's all blended up and the kids cannot pick it out. And it does give nice flavor.
The meal plan for 2 weeks. As you guys know, we eat a high protein diet, but we don't just eat meat products all the time. We do have several days when we don't eat meat. We eat plenty of fish and seafood. We also have vegetarian and vegan days. We rely a lot on peas, lentils, beans and brown rice to fill us up with protein, so we stay fuller for a lot longer. So if I take you through the plan really quickly, so we had lentil chili with brown rice on Monday. I used both black and pinto beans in it. It was really, really yummy. Then I did shepherd's pie on Tuesday, and I put one in the freezer, and I did a big batch for Millie. Then we did a sausage pasta, which is one of our favorite pastas, and I tried to make it as healthy as possible by adding lots of tomatoes and celery and carrots that I blend up so the kids cannot pick them out, and I add peppers and peas, so it's actually not as unhealthy as it sounds. On Thursday we had white fish and prawn risotto. I added a little splash of single cream that I had left over from the previous week. I also added some spinach and asparagus, and it was so delicious. We sprinkled some hard Italian cheese on top as well. Yum. Then on Friday we had another Italian inspired meal, which works for me just fine. So we did pesto mozzarella chicken, where I basically take a chicken breast, I put some pesto on it, some tomatoes, a couple of slices of mozzarella, and I bake it. I also put new potatoes right next to them, so everything was super delicious. The potatoes were nice and crispy, and we had some broccoli on the side. On Saturday we did an Indian veggie curry and some brown rice, very nice and simple. And on Sunday we did that Mexican pork belly. We ended up using the whole pack. I did some sweet potatoes, I had some spicy smoky sauce, and frijoles, which are just refried beans from the freezer. So we put those on top, and it was amazing. Then on the second week, on Monday, I have done like a Moroccan spiced parsnip and carrot soup. I had some handmade scones in the freezer, so I grabbed some of those out, and it was so nice together. Then on Tuesday we had a bit of a treat. We had a takeout for the first time in the last, I think, 6 weeks, which was so nice during half term not to be cooking. Wednesday I made roasted butternut and cashew nut mac and cheese with spinach and tuna, which is hands down our favorite pasta sauce at the moment. It is so healthy, it is so easy, and it is so delicious. On Thursday I made some Cajun chicken. That the pack that I took from the freezer, I defrosted it and again threw it with some new potatoes into the oven for about 45 minutes. I also had some courgettes and broccoli in there last minute, and it was so yummy. On Friday I made a Thai yellow fish curry with some prawns, and we had some brown rice on the side, lots of veg in there. It was super easy. And then on Saturday I made some turkey meatballs. I usually make a big batch of raw meatballs and pop them all in the freezer individually, so I grabbed some of those out, made it with some tomato sauce, pasta and broccoli. And then on Sunday I had a pork roast with carrots and potatoes. I also made some cabbage and green beans. So as you can see, all of those things were super simple, and I hope it will give you lots of inspiration of what to make for your family that is hassle-free and there is enough variety, so you don't feel like you're in a constant rut, because I feel like we constantly are, and my Pinterest boards are exploding at this moment. Now for the big reveal. I did exactly the same shop at Asda online without actually placing the order, and the big reveal is that Asda's shop would have been £124.15. That is a massive difference. I am so glad that I've checked it out for you guys.
I hope you enjoyed the video. Please make sure to subscribe. I do upload the videos every Wednesday evening. I am going to be uploading some cheeky videos at other times as well, but being a busy mom, I cannot bring myself to commit that when exactly I'm going to be uploading the second video, so do make sure to put that bell option on, so when I do release new content other than on Wednesday, you get notified of that. But yeah, I've got some really exciting stuff for you guys. A lot about cooking, a lot about meal planning, a lot about budgeting, and how to eat well without it being outrageous. So I cannot wait to share that all with you guys. Make sure to comment and tell me what your tips are, what you like to do, how you grocery shop, because I would love, love, love to hear that. I hope you're all really well and you're enjoying your day, and I will see you in my next one. Bye guys.